to order. It is now 6:06. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, July 23rd, 2024. If I could please get, Bill, would you please read the statement of purpose for us?
May our decisions today be made with wisdom, careful deliberation, and in the best interest of the city of Diamond Head. May we display patience and kindness in our dealings with each other and all who are in attendance. And may any decisions made today promote the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Diamond Head and the enhancement of the city as a whole.
Commissioner Nico, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's on.
Commissioner Parrish,
Here.
Commissioner Harwood,
Here.
Commissioner Nico,
Here.
Commissioner Bennett,
Here.
Commissioner Raymond,
Here.
Commissioner Brewer, and Chairman DeBro.
Here. Do we have any can we get confirmation or adjustments to the agenda? Can I get a motion to approve, or are there any adjustments that we need to make?
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We approve the minutes for the June 25th meeting. Do we have any changes or addendums to that? All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for the previous meeting?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 New business. We have an application requesting a variance from Michael J. Zarang for this Article 3.4.7 to allow a fence around an existing pool within 4 feet of the rear property line on the golf course. The property address is 5626 Ahua Place. The tax parcel number is 131C-1-13-162.000. The property is in the R10 zoning district. The fence setback on property adjoining the golf course is 10 feet. The variance requested is 6 feet. The case file number is 202400217.
My turn?
You have anything for us?
Yes, I do. Thank you. As you can see in the application, Mr. Zarang is asking to the zoning ordinance on property adjoining the golf course is the fence setback is 10 feet from the property line of the golf course there adjoining. So he's asked that it can be placed within 6 feet, within 4 feet, asking for a 6-foot variance. As you can see through with the exhibits in here, on page 12, you see where the property line is, the big bold white line, and then you see that there's a 10-foot dotted drainage easement there. So that would be the 10-foot from that. And again, that was on page 12. You see some of the other exhibits here where I've taken photographs of page 13, 14, 15, where you see that where the property marker is on page 13, and then another view on page 14 of where that back property line is. And I would assume that what we have here is where the yellow netting is where he proposes the fence to be, because that matches up about 4 feet off the property line. What color do I call it? Oh, it's orange, I'm sorry. Not yellow, it's orange netting. Thank you. Thank you, Counselor. You're worth every penny that we pay you. And then we have some other views on page 15, 16, and 17, views from the course of what the golfers would see as they're coming by there, from one property line to the other property line. And as you can see, it's pretty forested there, some azaleas planted there, lots of vegetation and growth. And then we go on to the page 18, the other end of the property line, where the orange netting is. So, that's what Mr. Zarang had requested there. Unfortunately, I don't see Mr. Zarang in the audience tonight, and there's nobody that has asked to line up and speak.
All right,
So, if I may go on with the staff report.
certainly may.
Thank you so much.
Pat, have you received any objections?
Oh, thank you so much. Tell me to look at my notes next time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. First of all, this is advertised as required in the Seacoast Echo, mailing sent to the adjacent property owners within 300 feet of this location, on the property itself, and advertised at City Hall at both of the bulletin boards here. We have received no objections for this variance request, by email, calls, writing, etc. No objections whatsoever. All right. So, before I get into the staff report, are there any questions that the commissioners would like to ask?
I want to make sure I'm seeing this right.
Okay.
So, on page 12, the pool where it says that whole square is the pool, and then is the next little section grass next to the pool?
Yeah, that's the walk down to the pool, and then there's the pool decking on the outside of it.
Okay, and then there's grass between that
Grass
and
between there,
Okay.
yes,
And
and the
then-
property line.
Page 12, it shows that the patio is right up to the dotted line. Where was the picture of that?
I'm not sure I got a picture of the patio on there, because the patio,
Okay, I thought,
it met the setback requirements.
okay, yeah.
Okay, and it was not in the drainage easement. So the patio and all is legal, the pool is legal, it meets the setback requirements.
So on page 18,
Yes, page 18.
in the picture, it would show that the patio would be right next to the pool, right?
Well, I guess they've got,
Or was this previous to when the patio was built? The pictures?
no, this
Because the
was,
patio was, okay.
It also
Yes.
looks like the pool's on the side of the house, not the back of the house, correct?
that is
It's kind
correct.
of, when you're looking at it from the back, it's to the left side.
That's correct.
What is that?
See if it's still true.
If you're looking on page 11 at the GeoPortal printout, I apologize, this was a very large
You're right, it is
blueprint,
kind of on the side.
and I could
Okay.
only capture a portion of the blueprint.
Okay,
without-
we got it now, yes. This.
So if you look at
so
page 11 at the GeoPortal,
This is where
the
the
pool
house
would be
stops.
on the, if
And
you
it's
are
like in the side.
looking from the rear of the house, from the golf course to the house, the pool would be on the left-hand side and a little bit behind the house, like that.
Right there. Okay, I think we're oriented now,
Okay.
right?
All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right. I'll get into the staff report. Now, I will tell you that this was omitted from our last meeting in the month of June. It was a omission on my part. I overlooked it. It got caught under some other paperwork that was on my desk. and didn't realize that it should have been submitted at that point in time. I've apologized personally to Mr. Zarang on a couple of occasions, and have also apologized publicly to the city council, and now want to apologize publicly to you, the Planning and Zoning Commission, for not having it on there. Also let you know that I'm now taking additional steps to ensure that that will not happen, which is simply posting it on my whiteboard with the date is supposed to appear so that I do not overlook another one again. So, my apologies to that. I also told Mr. Zarang at the time he gave this to me, which was in kind of a rush. He was putting the pool in. He knew he had to have a pool, et cetera, and so I told him that I would support that. Subsequent to that, I went out and actually looked at the property, took the pictures, observed it, and found that I could no longer support that. Because well, let me go to my staff report, okay? And that'll make it a little better. Okay. As I said, our recommendation of the Planning Commission is to deny the variances petition. As you know, we have to have finding of fact where we answer yes to all the questions. All right. In my opinion, special conditions circumstances do not exist which are peculiar to the land structure or building involved and which are not applicable to other lands, etc. The lot depth is sufficient to meet the rear yard setback requirement on this fence. He could put it right there on that 10-foot drainage easement line. It would enclose the fence. On the side of the yard, he could go to his property line, but on the rear of the yard, he could run his fence right down there. I do not know what the need is to extend the fence beyond the pool and enclose the yard to it. I'm not clear on what that need is. A need has not been presented, neither in the application nor my discussions with Mr. Zarang. Little interpretation of this provision would not deprive the applicant of other rights commonly by the property line, by the properties. That special conditions do not result or do result from the actions of the applicant. The variance requested will confer special privileges that are denied to other title or land structures in the same zoning district. It will not represent the minimum variance that could be afforded. I don't know what's the purpose of the 6-foot variance request. Would 2 foot do? Would 3 feet, etc.? Okay. Variance does not observe the spirit of the ordinance, but will not change the character of the district. Variance will not observe the spirit of the comprehensive plan, and it will not result in any change of use or density within the zoning district. Questions?
Yeah, if I understand this, he can have a fence around his pool.
Correct.
Without this variance, correct?
Correct.
So for insurance purposes, the pool can be fenced,
Correct.
et cetera.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
So how far is the pool from the property line?
10 feet.
So the fence would have to go right up against
The pool decking, yes.
Just on one side.
Just on that rear side there, yes. On the side yard portion of it, he can run the fence down to his property line.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the staff report as written to deny.
Any further questions? All right. Yeah, get a second.
I'll second.
All right. We do a roll call vote on this?
Discussion if you want it. No, we don't need a roll call vote.
I think we're good.
I think that's,
Okay, no, you don't
Makes
need a
sense.
roll call because everybody's present.
Okay,
All in favor?
all right. Everyone in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any abstain? All right, very good. Thank you, commissioners.
All right, so that, for all the folks in the audience, so that will be the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commissioners, and it will be on the next council meeting, the recommendation to deny the variance request.
And that next council meeting is August the 2nd.
Now, they gonna you gonna make a recommendation to the homeowner though, that he can go all the way up with the fence to the full back,
Oh,
right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, correct.
Mhm.
I think that would be August sixth, to get you in front of.
Oh, what-
August sixth.
it says that on the agenda, doesn't it?
It's August sixth.
Thank you, Ms. O'Hara. Okay.
All right, next item on the agenda, discussion regarding the city council passed a motion to amend the planning and zoning commission responsibilities to include the additional role of architectural review for commercial projects prior to plan approval.
All right.
What does that look like?
That's what y'all are here for.
All right. They've given us this assignment. And as it spells out in the assignment, this is architectural review for commercial projects only. All right. Architectural review, we have design standards, which I've included, 5.71, I believe it is, in your packet, what the design standards are. And the current model, current way of handling things is that the building department reviews the plans, reviews the architectural controls or the conditions that are stated here, and does this project meet those? Now, these architectural controls were added with the code revision that we adopted a few months ago and the city council adopted. So we now have design standards in here. And when we have a commercial project, we review those. If a developer disagreed with is that right? Oh my goodness. If the developer did not agree with the building official's interpretation, then that could be appealed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then if they didn't agree with your decision, could be appealed to the city council. And if they didn't agree to the city council, then it would go to court of whatever jurisdiction it is, all right?
So that's the way it
that's the
currently
current-
reads.
Right.
That's the current
Okay.
plan.
The way we see this working, the proposed way, is the building official, Bo and his staff, would make an assessment. Does this plans meet the architectural design standards? Not the building codes, not drive-through, but the architectural standards, okay? And then would provide you, and what we're proposing is that we make a permanent part of the agenda, architectural control review. And every time we had one of those, we put that on there. We give you information about the plan and what they did. We'd give you the recommendation of the building official, whether it was to approve or disapprove or whatever. And we try to work all this out, of course, before it gets to you. Yours would be a checkpoint to say, yes, the building official did meet, or the plan does meet all the design standards. and then you would be the approval authority on that and say yes or no. But it's strictly for the architectural review. It's not if they had a drive-in, drive-through, or the parking lots, et cetera. It's the architectural review, or the lighting, or whatever it is. That's a separate zoning review that we'll go through. So that's the way we propose it to work, okay? Make it a permanent agenda item, and we'll take a text amendment to go ahead and make these changes. Let's see. And we would have to define what it is that comes, okay, not only for new businesses that come in and want to build a building, but also those businesses that are here that want to make a change in their elevation of an existing business, that they would have to meet those design standards.
So if that's coming before P and Z,
Correct?
is that gonna be subject to public notice?
Yeah, well, it will be subject to public notice via the agenda,
Okay,
but not public notice. The changing of the text amendment to the ordinance, changing the responsibilities of the planning commission to include architectural review committee would have to be made in a text amendment, public notice,
Okay.
et cetera. Once that is adopted, then we envision it being that we add it as an agenda item under architectural review. No public notice is required on that because we're not doing a text amendment, we're not changing orders. You're a confirming body that the architectural standards were met.
And so, every week it would, as Pat said, it would be, we would amend the actual, what the agenda looks like, and it would, your question for Mr. Pat every month would be, Pat, do we have any architectural review items? You would get those with that agenda every, the week before. We endeavor to get that agenda out the Tuesday before the P and Z meetings, so you'd have a week to look at it. So the building official, what we're toying with and kicking around here is the building officials would look at it, work with the developer, get some recommendation done. Hopefully by the time it gets to that point, the building official is looking at it and go, yep, you've met everything. Now we can put it on the agenda, we can get it to the commissioners, and they can either approve. And the way we're looking at it is that you all would be you'd be the deciders on this, and if you all decided against it, the applicant could then appeal to the city council. But otherwise, you would be, so, it's a balancing act that we're trying to play here. We want to encourage development, but we want smart development. So we've enacted these code sections with the standards in there. The thought is just getting an extra set of eyes and making sure that when the building officials make that recommendation, you all are in agreement. Yep, we've gone down the checklist, they've done everything they're supposed to do. And it's not holding up the development because it's a routine agenda item, and when those things come up and they're done their review and their recommendation, you guys get a week's notice and it's on there. So the public will know the agenda's out. Every week we could have an architectural review item. This week we don't have any. Next month we do.
Not every week, every month.
Every month. Mhm. We could do it weekly.
No,
We could do it weekly.
y'all not for that, are you?
well, we'd have to have another discussion.
Pay raise, yeah. We're going to double your pay, okay?
Yeah, this does not come with a pay raise for y'all. More responsibility, but no more pay.
All right, now that we've given your vision, our vision of what did y'all see? I want your comments before we go to,
So it's similar to, we'll receive a staff recommendation because he's gonna have a checklist.
Correct.
Is the dumpster behind the fence? We're just talking about aesthetics on the outside, right?
Yes.
correct,
Are the colors?
correct.
Is the sign how it's supposed to be? So if they come to Bo and goes, no, then they're not even gonna be they won't even get sent to us, right?
He-
Or,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna add
Yeah.
earlier when Derek was talking.
or would,
Because I would go through 5.7 here in the zoning ordinance, and the way I think it would work best if I saw that they weren't meeting, even if they were lacking in one of these things, I wouldn't want to bring it in front of the commission and say, hey, they're lacking this, unless they were going to want to ask for some type of variance on that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
So-
what will happen is to your point, if it's on your agenda, they've met Bo,
Okay.
Pat, that department's approval. If they haven't, but they insist on moving forward,
Okay.
it's a variance. So
if
they'll be
they're
coming to.
appealing-
They'll be, essentially, they could either do it as an appeal, but I look at it almost as a variance. So they'll
Okay.
say, I've
Yeah.
done everything Bo wants, and I'm ready to build, but it says no flat face cement block, and I've got flat face cement block, and I think it's gonna look great. I wanna come,
And
I'm
ask.
filing a variance, and
Okay.
it'll follow that kind of procedure. But what we're gonna have to do is build in this framework, because we don't have this framework yet. So
sure.
what I may suggest is, because Bob Barber wrote this ordinance, is going to Bob and saying, hey, Bob, we do want an architectural review committee. Here's our thoughts. What do you see other cities doing? How do you, can you put it in here for us?
Okay.
So,
So, if they come to us with a asking for a variance, it would get sent to city council in the case of a variance.
Mhm.
But if everything is checked off and we say yes, does it get sent to council?
what we're proposing is it wouldn't. It would
Okay.
be to streamline the process. You guys
Yeah.
have been the eyes and ears.
Right.
Just like on, what else do we have? We have some items that are called planning and zoning review, where you guys are the final deciders. This would be.
South side.
Yeah, this would be planning and zoning
Would-
review, and that would be it, unless you all said, no, I don't agree, and then that developer would be able to then go to the city
Okay.
council.
And do you imagine that we would be, when they would come to Bo to, go through the checklist and make sure everything's lined up, will they have to send a color picture of, that way we can see, okay, the
Yes.
colors and
Yes, they would submit.
and they'll have to decide those things before?
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they submit elevations. This is what the front's gonna look like, and the
Okay.
signage on it, and the windows, and what color it's gonna be,
Okay.
et cetera, et
so there's
cetera.
no, it's not subjective, like, right? It's just like a checklist.
Correct.
Yeah, the majority of these are, you're correct, they're checklists. Some of the, the aesthetics and the colors, some of the things we have built in here has to be consistent with the character and that type of thing. There's some standards also for those commercial properties that abut residential properties. They have to look a certain way. So some of that, there's a little subjectivity in there, but some of that really is cut and dry. It's gonna say,
Okay.
you can't have this, you must have that type of thing. Building materials and things like that. And these guys can definitely go through and say, yes, you have it, or no, you don't.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds easy. I mean, not easy, but I mean, it sounds like, if,
Easy for you.
hey, I mean, I'm on volunteer, I'll come
Okay, okay.
volunteer,
Any further questions? You guys? All right,
All right,
We're good.
so everybody's in agreement, this is the way we should proceed.
sounds reasonable.
Okay, very good.
And
So-
And I-
one more question.
Go
ahead. Yes.
How long do you think it will be before, we have Bob add the
Well,
couple?
I was just gonna
couple
say,
of
one of
months
the
or
things,
like-
I may have overstepped just a little bit, because I'm committing to the city, we're all committing to the city spending some money here, so I'm gonna have to get with our city manager here and our council and decide, how they wanna go about that. But I don't look at this as a major revision. I just look at it almost as, we have variance language, it's a page and a half. A page and a half of text that just sets forth how this works. And, I mean, it's something Pat and I might be able to accomplish without Bob, but I don't think it's going to be that complicated to do.
My only concern is conflicting portions of the ordinance, because
Yeah.
you've got a specific section there for the variance procedure, and the items that the planning commission is responsible for. So we'll have to add this item to it and make sure that Also in the approval process, that we add the architectural review committee approval, et cetera. So make sure that that's all included in that.
And if for some reason it doesn't work, we can
Yeah.
always
They're living documents.
Yes.
You come back and change them to where they work for you.
Yeah, we just did a major revision to the entire zoning ordinance. And, as Pat laid out, the way it's supposed to work right now is just that at the building level, the building official level, that's where it ends right now. And this is just adding that extra level in there, but, that's not to say it wouldn't have worked the other way. I think the consensus is just to get more eyes on it. We do want that smart development, so.
This would be an item that would it would be a text amendment, a text amendment, so it'd have to be advertised. That means I have to have it out of here for the next meeting. Next meeting is in August, right?
Yes.
Let's see, where are we? 1, 2, 3. I would have to have it out of here by next Friday, not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. Now, that would all the changes would have to be made and put a revised document, et cetera, together. I think that's doable. So that's the target I'm going to shoot for,
And
is to have it on August agenda. Now, that's the soonest it can be done, so.
And what we may suggest is we have a draft for you all in August, and I know that's going to throw another 30 days on the process, but have a draft to you all that you can actually look at. Have you guys bless it, and then put it on September for a final approval. Just because, if we're writing it and we don't get it right, and then you guys look, well, you've already advertised this thing, and we haven't even had a chance to look at it. So I know that, again, the criticism a lot is that things take too long, but we do want to get it right, and we do have some notice requirements when we're doing ordinance changes. So if I might suggest is that by August 27th, and as soon as we have it ready, we'll get it to you all. We have a draft. It says draft all over every page in Watermark, and then you guys at that meeting kick it around, make whatever changes, then we publish and advertise for final recommendation in September, and then we're looking at October. The good news is I don't think we have any projects in the pipeline right now, and the standards are still there. I don't know if we do or not, Pat. I'm just guessing. But the standards are still there as it exists right now. So we're not under the gun. So that, just so that we make sure we get the notice requirements, we want the input from the public. This is the first. This is the first we're rolling it out. The criticism will be, well, why weren't you guys ready with something? Well, we can't meet with you all. We have to do it in public. This is our opportunity. So it's got to be rolled out to you guys. You guys, if you're giving us the direction that you want us to run with this, we'll have it to you at the next meeting for a final review before having that approval in September.
September.
That's
Yeah,
reasonable.
what Derek said.
All right, we good with that one? All right, next item, City Council passed a motion to direct the Planning and Zoning Commission to review and propose an appropriate course of action to bring existing commercial signage into compliance with the new zoning code, to include a sunset clause to allow businesses time to comply, and to hold a public hearing regarding same.
I thought this was already set.
I thought so too.
Okay. What was set was we made a change recently, well, a year ago almost, to the sign ordinance, and it was referring to window signs, where we reduced the maximum coverage from 50% to 25% of the window, and also eliminated the rope lighting. And we put a effective date of September the 1st. It would become effective. And we have been working with those that do not comply with it today. We've already been working with them to let them know that they will need to comply by and what it takes to comply. So that process is underway and we're actively working that. And from the indications we've got from the business owners, that's not going to be an issue or a problem. Now, we'll see what happens at the end of the road, but, so that had a firm date. It becomes effective then, nobody's grandfathered in. You grandfathered in, for that 1 year period. So that gave business owners an opportunity to plan and budget for, if they had to make a reduction in their window lighting, how they would do that, eliminate the rope lighting, et cetera. So that's what it is. What we're primarily talking about is, the city wants to move to monument signs. Any new sign for a new business coming in must be a monument sign in the commercial district, in C1 district, okay? Must be a monument sign. And there are some businesses out there that still have the pole signs, and the pole signs were grandfathered in as long as they met certain specifications. You didn't move the sign, you didn't change it in height or width or lettering. If it was just a simple copy change out, et cetera, you wouldn't have to, or if it was, you had some hurricane damage and it was less than 50% damage, you could replace it and go back with it, okay? So it has specific things that said you would not have to change it unless these things happen. What the council is looking at is we are spending a lot of money over here on the Noma Drive Circle, Park 10 Lanes. I don't know if y'all been by there. The cut through from Leisure Time to Park 10 Lanes. A lot of money being spent with the making that a walkable, paved area, street lights. Hope to have businesses up there where people do it. We did the same thing with Aloha, with the restructuring of that. And so the council is looking at making it where it's more in line with the monument signs than having the pole signs, the roof signs out there, and eliminating them. And the intent is to come up with I guess, instead of grandfathered, as long as they meet these requirements, come to an end date, a sunset clause on those signs that says, by such and such date, you must remove that sign and conform to whatever the sign ordinance is at that point in time. So
Irrespective of any changes.
that's correct.
That's it.
That's correct. So everybody conform to that. Now, we have looked, okay, we've got all this construction going on. And, our businesses have complained about reduction in business, et cetera. There's going to be expense to those businesses that have not complied with, have been grandfathered in. They're going to have to put new signage up. So we were looking at, now's not a perfect time to do it because of, if they have left revenue and we say you're going to have to spend some more money for a sign, et cetera. So we were looking at maybe a year after the projects, roundabouts are all completed. Come in line with it then, and that would give them a lot of notice. Bo and I went out and looked today, and there's approximately 20 signs or fewer. Several of those will be taken care of by the roundabout project. The Chevron sign, the Domino's sign, the Burger King sign, the Caldwell Banker sign has already been taken care of. The Circle K, the Dairy Queen sign, I think is going to be impacted also. We're not quite sure about that one. But several of those signs are going to be taken care of because of the roundabout project. They'll have to remove them, they have to put up new signs, they'll have to conform to, because I don't know if the planning commission remembers it, those that were on it at that time, we brought an exception to y'all for one of the businesses there to allow them to keep their pole sign, and the commission voted not to allow that. So, what else did I forget? Okay, these grandfather signs, the actual title for them is legal non-conforming, because they, at the time the city was formed and the ordinance were incorporated in 2012, these signs were legal signs, but they're non-conforming to the ordinance. And it was just open-ended. You didn't have to change it unless one of these other things happened. 20 signs of, okay, all right. So, that's my thoughts, our thoughts on this. Now, I would like to hear y'all's thoughts on it. Yes, ma'am.
I guess my question would be the example of the Chevrons and Burger Kings, et cetera, the ones outside of that, haven't we been talking about this for a year now? Do they still need a year? Have they been impacted maybe just the past month? Like, shouldn't they have been prepared for this by now?
Are you talking about those that are not in the MDOT roundabout footprint? Oh, the ones that are in the MDOT? Yes. And those will take care of themselves. We don't have to worry about
What
those.
the ones right outside of that, like a little bit further?
Okay. The ones along.
Do you have an example of, like, was that People's Bank?
Yes.
Was that like that automotive place? Like, what are the other examples that are right outside that need another year that are affected now, I guess is my question.
We brought our thoughts, and you're saying they should know. Well, how would they know if we don't change the ordinance?
When we passed the sign, that was about the window signage, unless this was something that happened before I was here.
Yeah, the conversation we had, that was specific to the Chevron.
Yeah,
It was.
if I recall.
It was.
Yes.
That's why I guess
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess that's where I'm getting confused. If that was already part of our conversation, what's the difference in the other few that are around the corner? I know they're gonna be taken care of by the roundabout, so we're gonna give the other ones an extra year?
No, well, yeah, that's the kind of, that's the kind of question we're looking at is, so, yeah, I mean, that's been the debate is what's an appropriate time for those businesses to, because again, they are conform, they're non-conforming, but they are legal signs. So if it weren't for the roundabout, Chevron sign could stay as it is indefinitely under our current ordinance. So they're obviously impacted. That's why there was a move to try to have you all make an exception for them, which may or may not have been legal, but you all made your decision not to make that recommendation. As far as the other businesses, they haven't been put on notice that, hey, you're gonna have to change your sign soon. They just know, like everybody else that's got a legal non-conforming sign, when that time comes that you want to change your sign out, if it's a new business comes there or whatever, you're not going to be able to keep your current pole sign. You're going to have to go to the monument sign. So the question for y'all is, do we want to accelerate that? That's been on the books now for almost as long as we've been a city, is that's the goal. So the goal was that this would happen, I'm guessing in less than 10 years, but here we are, we've been a city for 10 years and we still have a lot of pole signs.
Right.
So the question as a city is, what's the solution? And how much is a reasonable time, especially, as Pat said, given the fact that businesses are right now impacted by all this work? And
I would
you know.
think
So-
6 months after construction would be reasonable, because most of them know it's coming. I mean, they should start preparing for it. And plus, it's gonna be, a couple more months before construction ends?
Oh, it's going to be probably
Yeah.
a year,
2 or 3 years.
2 or 3
Well,
years.
I'm just talking about the roundabout.
Oh, it's going to be years.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of make a rolling date when construction's complete, because that's timeline could be, unknown. I'd like to come with a firm date and say, hey, whatever
Yeah.
it may be, let's go forward with it.
I mean, do we have a projected date on it, not from DOT, or is that DOT?
2027, John's telling us, for the roundabouts,
For the roundabout?
for the whole project in Diamond Head, the entrance ramps, the
The
roundabouts.
exit.
See,
Okay,
you've
wait.
got to consider the whole project, not just the roundabout.
Okay, so wait, did you call it it's your staff recommendation, right?
Well, it's
To
not,
wait a
no,
year.
Yeah.
these were our thoughts.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Okay.
we're not making any recommendations.
Yeah.
We're trying to tell you what, these are the things we considered.
So by
Now, we want
roundabout,
you to give us your thoughts and how you would like to see this done. And it doesn't have to be done tonight,
yeah.
uh,
So,
because we're just throwing this at you.
okay, so when we're saying, like Mike said, maybe 6 months after the roundabout, but do you mean the roundabout, I'm not really like familiar with the difference. Not the exit, but the roundabout,
We-
that will be done sooner than are you talking about the roundabout in front of Coldwell Banker?
Aloha, yeah.
there's gonna
Aloha,
be
or you mean the roundabouts on the interstate?
The
we-
ones in the city is what I was thinking, but.
Well, I was thinking about the entire project, because the
Okay.
entire project has a negative, I mean, 2027, that was my thought, that the entire project could have a negative impact on businesses. And then for those businesses to have a negative revenue impact, and then we, on top of that, come in and say, we're going to require you to spend money that you didn't make on a sign. And most of them are small businesses, okay, with the exception of some.
And I
But-
know the signs are, I mean, just how much does one cost? Like an average sign, monument sign, like, I understand some are gonna be bigger than others and different.
Bo
Depends
might
on-
have a
Yeah,
educated guess.
from
I
what
mean-
I've seen, if they would have to remove it and put a monument sign up, it'd probably be several $1,000s,
Yeah.
7, 8 to 10 at least.
Well, what is monument signs, how can they be constructed? Somebody do it out of just plywood and nice and neat paint, or? is
We
it
have,
to
we
be-
have
I mean,
standards
what's
that,
the-
we have standards in the sign
In the
ordinance
signing
that
ordinance?
don't let just,
Yes.
yeah, it's not just plywood, but, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's not? Oh, I don't?
Let me see if I have it.
No, there was a sign,
Yeah, there's a sign, yeah. It's signed
last
on
page.
page 28, 29, and 30.
I've got it
Uh,
right here too.
Yes.
So here, and it shows you example of ground-mounted monument signs. All right, it's a low-profile sign. The base has a width of 80% of the sign width. Little or no space between the bottom of the sign's message area and the top of the base. And includes, like if you got over at Indian Hills, they've got an entrance there that lists all the businesses that are on Indian Hill Drive there. So it includes that type. If you've got let's say you've got a conglomeration in one area, like we have with the existing commercial district there, ground mounting sign showing each of those, but not a pole mounted sign. We don't have any of those there
I
anymore.
guess I'm just trying to imagine which businesses would be outside of that roundabout area in Aloha that
Well,
have pole mount signs now.
okay.
Are
So,
there,
Yeah.
so if you're going down, okay, let's say we're headed towards, we turn by Circle K and we're headed east there. So you've got Circle K, you got Family Dollar. Okay, Family Dollar has a ground mounted sign there.
Yes.
All right. Then you've got a couple of pole signs there. You've got North Bay Automotive.
Okay,
You've got People's Bank.
okay.
You've got the next little shopping center that has, not Aloha,
That's the name of the building, Aloha Shopping.
it's got the nail place in there,
Yeah, Gabo's and all
insurance place. Lisa Ladner's got a place there.
And they have a pole sign there.
They have a pole sign there, and they also have roof-mounted signs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it would be doing away with those roof-mounted signs
Okay.
and doing away with pole signs and coming in with monument signs. So if you're going down that way, if you're going, let's say, you're going west of Jex, you're going past the lemonade, not the, what's the-
Snowball,
What?
the snowball stand
Yes, snowball stand, thank you.
towards,
If you're going that way, and then you got right there, you've got several pole signs on the corner of whatever that street is.
okay,
And.
Park 10 and,
Park
Yeah,
10.
Park 10 and all. And then you've got, and then down that, you've got some pole mounted signs there.
okay,
And then if you go down Leisure Time, where we saw, 3 pole mounted signs down there. So that's predominantly what we have.
mhm.
Okay.
I'm just trying to picture in my head for like where the hardware store is and all that, for them to put a monument sign. Where are they gonna put these monument signs?
You put them,
the pole.
they don't have to have them because there are no pole signs there. All their signs are conforming signs.
Okay.
They're wall-mounted signs, and they're conforming. They're not on top of roofs, so they're not roof-mounted, and they're not pole signs there. So
So they are good,
they're good.
right?
Yeah, both of those sections are good of the shopping center there.
So we're looking at a projected end date on this 2027 sometime.
No, I mean, sorry.
Is
I've
that
been,
correct?
That's the entire interstate project and the roundabouts and the on-ramps and everything,
And that's,
so.
that's what we're basing the recommendation on. Is that correct?
No, we're just talking.
We're just talking.
We're talking. I'm
I
throwing things
think-
out, points of view. I'm trying to put myself in a business owner's shoes.
mhm.
I'm trying to put myself in what the city council wants, and trying to come up with something that is reasonable and is not such a burden to bear on a small business owner.
Pat, since you sort of sprang this on us maybe slightly unexpected tonight, you think we could table this item
Oh,
so that all of us would have a chance maybe to drive around and then formulate something and bring this as an agenda item at our next meeting?
This was for informational purposes only.
So why don't we
Okay.
do this, something
And I should have said
similar?
that on the front end, I'm sorry.
Why don't we do something similar to what we're doing with the other recommendation is, I think there's some consensus there is what to do. There may not be here, but
Right.
maybe we can at least draw something up. We'll leave blanks the timelines, when the actual sunset for this ordinance will be. You all can kind of look around, do some digging, but we'll have at least something to continue this discussion. And then hopefully this will follow the same timeline, and that we'll have something in September to be recommending to the council for that October, that first meeting of theirs in October. So it gives us time.
And
But-
I kind of agree with Mr. Raymond there about just instead of going by.
Just pick a date.
Finish and all that, just pick a hard line date.
12 months, 18
Yeah.
months. I think we just need to pick a date. I don't know if you'll give them notice and say this date's coming in 18 months.
We would.
Yes.
And then, hey, it's time to go. I don't
Yeah.
like that rolling time frame. I've seen construction on
Oh,
the
yeah.
road take a while. It's
Well,
raining out there. I don't want to give them another day or so, you know?
And that's consistent. What we've seen in some other cities is about a 12-month period where they've given them, but again, that'll be up to y'all to recommend.
All right, so my charge then is to come back to you next month as on the architectural review is introduce an ordinance to you at that point in time.
For a text amendment.
A text amendment, right,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Same thing with the sign.
Text amendment. And then, okay, very good.
Yeah, and then a proposed text
Same thing.
amendment with respect to the sign ordinance
Right.
that doesn't detail an exact time, but we'll leave that kind of for y'all for discussion at the next meeting, but we'll at least have that language.
Sounds good. All right, any further
And
questions?
that was, Commissioner Parrish, that was the whole reason of bringing this up tonight, is so we wouldn't throw an ordinance on you. So you know something's coming, all right?
It was a surprise.
He was wanting to go
What-
talk to the union rep before we go. forward.
That's it, that's it, that's it.
All
Okay.
right. Anything else on the agenda for tonight?
Oh, I apologize. Dr. White, you had signed up to speak on number, oh, Miss O'Hara, I'm sorry.
I didn't know if it was, you all had unfinished business or whatever.
Nope. Next
This,
up.
this was, okay, go, please.
Yeah,
Sorry,
unfinished business,
my bad.
Okay,
public comments. Yeah.
commissioners and Pat, everybody, thanks for hearing me. I just wanted to ask about number 4. Everybody keeps saying architectural review, and I just want to make sure that's Envision, right? That we're talking about, the Envision plan that the citizens voted on and came to a conclusion on the look that we wanted. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, but.
How
the
it's going to
citi-
conform and look?
Yeah, the citizens had input. It was the council that voted on it as your
Well,
representative.
it was, went out as like a poll, and we all voted on
Correct,
which,
correct.
which,
You're right.
you know, our favorites were, and
Yes.
they incorporated and then voted on it. I just want to make sure, okay, and then I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. So that is about the Envision. Okay, and then I just wanted to find out, are we going to have, when we get to that point, where you find that approval, that's going to be up for public review, so everybody can see that
It will,
it's conforming and everything's moving along and looks just like we wanted?
yes,
Because it didn't mention a public hearing like it did on number 5.
okay. It would be an agenda item. Any agenda item is open for public comment
Okay, so at
Okay,
council or P and Z?
at P and Z,
P and Z.
P and Z.
Well, then you'll be having to
Okay.
see me again.
And so it will be open for public comment at that point in time. It will also be attached, like we do in all of them, the backup documentation in the packet that will show the building official saying, yes, it complied to this, that, and the other. So you'll be able to see that. It may even, probably going to show examples of what the elevations are going to be.
Beautiful. I mean, I
All
just
right.
wanted to
So-
make
so the-
sure,
so the
because it
public
didn't
will be-
really mention Envision,
Okay.
and, you know, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
And
that's
that-
where
that's
this
a
all
great
came from.
question. Yeah, that's a great question. It'd be treated just like variance, any other agenda item, except it will not be forced to be advertised legally in the newspaper, posted on a property, any of that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, understand.
and-
Thank you.
and then-
Thank you all.
And then let me address one more thing. Well, I just want to
Your
make
3
sure.
minutes are up.
I just want to make sure we're clear on this. The architectural committee, that's where the design standards came from, was Envision 2040, that we wanted to see this in our commercial district. So the design standards came from that and were incorporated in our ordinance so that it would be codified there, and then we would follow that.
And that's exciting about the ordinance.
Okay, very good.
Thank you all very much.
Right. Any further public comment?
No.
All right. Any comments from the commissioners?
I move we adjourn.
Oh,
That's
read
next
the,
on the- Next city council meeting is Tuesday, August 6th, 2024. Next planning commission meeting, Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. Anything else?
Commissioner Parrish.
All right. Can I get a motion to,
I move.
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Thank
all
you,
for coming.
commissioners.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thanks for everybody coming out.